can pick up here in Lageta. And we got a companion here. Check the alone.
Oh.
Sure, we could use somebody like you in our company. We'll pick up some mercenary recruits here, sell some prisoners, try to recruit up to 145 here, and be on our way. Doing a little bit more mercenary work here. We better get this gal decked out. She can't go into battle wearing a shirt. She's got a bathrobe on. Looks like it keep you warm after you got out of the hot tub, but that's about it. So this gal's a scout. She's going to be, we're going to specialize her as a scout. So she'll be horseback with bow, shield, and sword. Put some armor on her. Give her an upgraded horse here. I'm not going to spend 1,000 hours again doing this, wasting your time here. But we're going to have some battles here against either Valandia or Battania very soon. And so we want to make sure she at least has a little bit of protection here. She can have this Kazate looking like helmet. That'll make her look the part, and of course it'll protect her noggin. She's kind of a good-looking gal. Maybe she'll be a future wife to one of my sons. We shall see. And give her a sword. And any equipment here at Lageta. I like to pick up these kind of two-handed axes. Of course, at this stage, fiscally, we're really getting ahead of the game. We'll even out some of our food stocks here and be on our way. And it occurs to me, this is a perfect opportunity here to say welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, especially Advanced Battlefield Command and Tactics. And here's our situation right now in the Aserai campaign. We are a mercenary here for Liu Khan and the Northern Empire. He has a pretty vast empire expanding here, and this guy's paying us a huge amount of gold to kick ass for him. So we like gold. Wazu in our campaign here is avaricious. He is greedy. Avarice. I think it's one of the 7 deadly sins or something like that. Basically, it's extreme greed, right? Illogical greed. We got a lot of that today in our capitalistic society. People doing fraud so that they can make billions of dollars, then they go to jail. But Wazu here is looking for targets, right? We're going to look for just like that. Battanian, where's this fucking guy going? Is he heading towards that? I wonder if he's going to try to defend that castle. We've got a Northern Empire force here sieging a castle. And no matter what, we're going to join that siege. I can't tell if this guy's just wandering or what. But targets of opportunity, that's the name of the game. We've got 146 troops right now in our mercenary army. We're rolling right along, right? We've got a pretty nice army. I've got a few prisoners I can recruit here. Of course, our morale is sky high because we have lots of food. We're winning every fucking battle. We're crushing people. We're getting rich. Wazu's level 18 already. And they are being attacked. So perfect. We get a chance to play hero here. Let's see how many this is first. Can't really tell. It's like that scene in Top Gun where it looks like it's 1 plane and then it's 6. I know it was only 2. Okay, yikes. So these guys will be fucked without our help. The garrison is sallying out here. We're going to try to play hero here. Caladog is here. That is the Battanian king or whatever the fuck he's called.
On my command.
So we'll assist here. Now we're uphill. That's good. Can't tell what's going on here. I got to assess both our situation, where the enemy is. They're way down in the valley, and then what our ally is going to do, right? That's vital in this process as a mercenary. We cannot win this battle on our own, and they probably cannot win it on their own, right? So it's a true symbiotic relationship here. I can't tell. They look like they're routing off the battlefield. They're probably trying to get a defensive position. So, as you've seen me do before, we will position opposite of them. Why? Because we want to funnel the enemy between us. We have 72 archers in our army. Which is a lot, right? Almost half of our army is archers. I even have some horse archers to boot, right? So we have a very ranged heavy army. We've got some javelin throwers. We've got some Aserai archer or Aserai infantry have javelins. And we're starting to recruit a handful of battanian units, right? A few wood runners and whatever the fuck, wearing their plaid and throwing little tiny javelins. Of course, my character's got javelins, and we're using these battles to level up his skill as well. It's also leveling up my own skill. I'm not used to having this kind of pitiful riding and javelin skill here, so I get a little bit of practice with these fights. But I think this is going to be a beautiful situation for us. Look at where the enemy's going. They're going right at us. which is a disaster for them, right? Because the allies are over there fucking flanking them, and we're going to be able to kite the fuck out of them, do a little kill box. It's basically an assisted kill box. While we encircle this force here with the crane formation, our allies are over there. Who knows? They might even charge the enemy, which would be devastating for them. And we're obviously going to be able to kite uphill and rain arrows down. I see their archers are way down the hill, but we're going to protect our archer wings anyways with heavy cav, basically in a shield wall. I have so few cavalry, I'm not going to be able to use them very offensively early on. Right, we're just going to fly in here like Superman and throw some javelins. They got battanian fiends up here at the back of their army. We're going to target these guys with extreme prejudice, right? These guys will be high on our kill list. But of course, I do have to be careful. Look at the Northern Empire force is attacking their flank, at least with cavalry. And you can hear the projectiles just raining in on the enemy. So this is probably going to seem like a blur to a lot of players. I'm not going to slow these down. We're not going to be doing these in tutorial fashion. We're going to be doing these in full speed, right? Of course, apart from the little slowdowns, when you click a unit and tell it what to do, you'll get a little slow process. But we're going to play these out like these are real battles. I mean, these are real battles. What I mean by that is these are not going to be so much instructional battles as they are going to be just battles in the campaign. If you want to seek more instruction, you've come to the right place. Cut them down! Oh shit, they do have horse archers behind us here, trying to knock me around here. We have plenty of instructional videos on the channel, but these episodes here for the campaign are going to be raw combat, right? We're trying to put down this huge battanian force. Let me rephrase. We are going to put down this huge battanian force, as they have a lot of infantry, heavy infantry, and they have no chance in hell of reaching any of our units. There won't be melee apart from these fucking cavalry fucking stabbing our low-level infantry and archers. There won't be any melee until we decide, right? We're going to basically control the action in this engagement. The enemy's in the familiar fishball, and they're being absolutely shredded, right? They're in a tight mass, and you can see the arrows just cutting them apart. It's actually a beautiful thing. Oh shit. Look at, they're starting to disperse because they're routing and getting ripped apart. Let's rip them up now with cav and infantry. So I've mentioned the analogy before. A lot of times they start to resemble a fishball, right? They start to resemble literally the anchovies that the dolphins, the more intelligent mammal, are ripping apart. That's what these feel like in Bannerlord. I mean, I recognize it's just the AI here, but we are completely demolishing superior foes, right? We're seriously outnumbered, and we just absolutely shredded that battanian infantry force. Now, their archers are coming up very aggressively, like they want to fight. So this is going to be a little bloodier. I do have infantries on both wings, and archers are still working. And it looks like our ally charged here as well, but there's going to be some losses here. These archers are higher level. I can see the death spam, right? We're still killing high-level archers. Obviously, some of the battanian archers are tough at melee, right? They've got nasty two-handed weapons. Looks like they've got some mercenaries and whatnot in there. But this battle, they're roaring. I mean, they're fighting to the death, but this battle is over, right? It's all over but the crying now. It's all over but the taking prisoners. Come with us, Caladog. Fucking dipshit. Take his ass prisoner fucking multiple times already in this campaign. Die, dog. Literally, die. I wish you could make him say, die, Caladog. It looks like he's already down. I haven't actually seen him in this battle. And again, we'll do a little bit of farming here at the end. Kick some of these guys around. Work on our athleticism. It always increases your athleticism to kick guys. And I mean that sort of jokingly. I assume it helps your skill set. But another successful battle here, and I think we will have this be the first episode of another one of our mercenary episodes, right? We're going to be focusing at least 2 or 3 episodes on this mercenary stage. Now, why? Well, because you need money for a campaign, just like in real life, right? We're going to pretend like Wazu is going to retire at some point in this campaign, and I will explain that in a bit. But you need money to become your own kingdom. Of course, we need money to woo a wife, right? We're gonna have to pay for a wife. It's the Aserai mail order bride. That's what they did back then. Look at these skills. Wazu is getting skills up to Wazu. He's just leveling quickly here. This guy, we've saved his ass like 3 times already. Every time we see him, he's got another scar. And look at this, High King Caladog, come with us. We've got some nice chains for you. He looks pissed off too. 300 skill, weapon skill, and come with us. Look at, we're just getting tons of lords, of course, because we made a major impact in that battle. Tons of, so we get everything, right? We get prisoners, we get fucking Caladog, we get ransoms from all these guys when we go to the castle. We're gonna get loot here in a second. I didn't see, but I assume we got some gold for this battle, and our mercenary contract's gonna be just skyrocketing. So it's the Bannerlord lottery, right? Look at all these upgrades we're getting. We're getting upgrades left and right because our guys are killing efficiently. They're not getting killed. I actually like the Brigand. We'll leave that guy. I mean, if you're focusing on crossbow anytime I get Imperial units, and of course, you know me, javelins. All right, let's see if there's some elite loot here. I want Caladog's helmet. No such luck today, but we did get a nice variety of loot. This is actually a lot worse loot than the earlier... it'll probably be last episode, the earlier Keep Siege, but we will take it. It all adds up, right? Wazu is looking at it with greedy eyes and grasping fingers, right? These guys are still sieging here with 19 people. I'm not quite certain the Northern Empire has all their screws tightened down here. They seem pretty stupid, but of course this is artificial imbecility. I don't know what's going to happen here if I leave. I guess we could join. There's no garrison to sally out, right? Because we just crushed it. But I don't know. Sometimes these sieges, this guy will sit here and heal for like 2 months. We'll see if he launches an immediate assault here. Otherwise, we're going to leave. But the mercenary game, right, is very much like a career in real life, right? You, all of you, and 99% of you that weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, we've got to grind out our way in life, however that might be. In my case, it was 32 years of as a firefighter and the military in the United States. I was actually in the United States Coast Guard. People ask me all the time, "Yeah, were you a sniper?" And I'm like, yeah, I had 29 confirmed kills, dude. I'm legendary. No, actually, I did, I shot a gun in the Coast Guard, but I was not like an assassin or something like that. I was actually a firefighter in the Coast Guard, too. My uncle actually said it was one of the best ways to become a firefighter because obviously it's a very difficult profession to get access to. So anyways, you got to grind out a career somehow, right? Hopefully some of you fellas are thinking about ideas for a career so that you can make enough money to eventually not work, right? The majority of us are sort of forced to work, forced to come up with some way, some kind of hustle to make dinars, make euros, make whatever it is, francs, and what the fuck, I don't know, rubles, whoever's listening to this. You got to make some money so that you can afford to not work, right? My wife and I are getting to that stage, and that's similar in Bannerlord, right? That's why I'm making this connection. I would say 1,000, or I would say 1,000,000 is a nice goal, right? You want to have copious gold, because once we become our own kingdom, we will have to pay for peace. And the simple reason is you will be attacked by 3, 4, 5, 6 kingdoms, and you're not winning against all of them at once. So I've got another piggy bank here. Every time I see one of these guys, I see it like my stocks and my accounts are going up, right? It's like I see a battanian, our money's going up here. We can recruit some of these guys here and then slaughter this battanian force. So I don't have like a hard number. I'm aiming for 1,000,000. Some guys would probably say have more gold than that, and we're probably going to be committing to a kingdom earlier than most people, although I should clarify that. We're going to be to the stage where we could commit to a kingdom. What the fuck? He attacked a caravan. Oh, we attack. We're going to save this caravan here. We're going to play hero again. We're going to massacre some battanians here and collect all the loot, right? Wazu he's greedy. He loves some loot. There will be some role-playing in this campaign, right? I'm trying to distinguish this campaign from other campaigns, and I'm trying to make it interesting for you fellas. As you can tell from the cutscenes, and by the way, I won't be doing those for every single episode. They take hours to produce in some cases. All the different cutscenes from battles and different things that I create footage for them. But we're trying to create a little story. What the fuck are these units? Is this whole army? This whole army literally looked like it was one mercenary type. What is that? I'm almost dead. Fuck you, man. Leave me alone here. I'm just trying to kill your units. I forget how delicate I am. That was like instantly I'm down to 30% health. These fucking assholes. Fuck you guys. And it is. Those are all, I think, Legion of the Betrayed or whatever they're called. Those are all Triarii, I think. I can see their little stupid helmets. Maybe they're not all Triarii, but there's a bunch in there. All right, so they want to charge us with infantry, right? You guys are familiar with this situation here. This is not a fail-safe strategy, but goddamn, it works well, right? We're going to do some kiting. We've got this pathetic little caravan here to use as bait. We've got our archers in 6th Corps. We're going to start spreading guys around this force as they come in. It's traditional crane formation. And Triarii, these motherfuckers do have just tons of Triarii. That's all right. Their shields only point in one direction, right? They cannot defend every single direction, and so these archers are now on their flank. The enemy has one archer over there, so we're not concerned about that. I do have to be careful of these cavalry. These cavalry are definitely going to be spearing our archers, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. All right. Our infantry, we're just going to tell them to leave the field, basically, right? We're not going to get our infantry slaughtered here by our 60 or 70 mercenary forces. And the arrows are doing their work, right? You can hear their guys fucking screaming and yelling as they get butchered. It's a slaughter. And until the enemy starts incorporating more mixed armies in this series, we're just going to cut through every small army in our path. Now, bigger armies are going to be a challenge, and I will certainly take on some challenges. I'm going to be playing a little bit reckless in this series. Not crazy reckless, not stupid reckless. Crazy like a fox, right? We're going to definitely try to tackle some 300, 400, 500 person armies when the opportunity is ripe. When the opportunity is present, right? We're going to strike when the iron is hot. So this battanian force is slaughtered, right? It's all over, but they're shouting right now. They all get butchered. They shouldn't have attacked our caravan. 0 losses here. We rack up a bunch more skills. And you could see at this stage, rinse and repeat, right? We're not going to be threatened by 80 troops or 100 troops or whatever that was. Looks like they have some troops here. We'll take the archers, right? As you can see, our archer-heavy strategies so far are working. We're going to have to adjust, and I do intentionally plan on having periods where the army has a different loadout, so to speak, right? I am going to run a very heavy infantry army at one point. The campaign should be long enough that I can experiment a little bit. We're going to run with a palace guard heavy army. We're going to do some shield and shock, right, with lots of vanguard Ferris and palace guards. Look at the size of this fucking army. That is huge for the early game. And we just... Oh, he lost mercenaries. I was looking down like, we just got more mercenaries? I don't know how Lucan's paying for all these troops, but he has a lot of troops. Apologies for that little interruption. We'll change the music. Sometimes my music has a tendency to repeat, and very occasionally you'll see a little pause, a little blip like that. Hopefully with the editing you can barely tell. In fact, I'm going to stop mentioning it. But that's me going out and basically changing my playlist to make sure you guys aren't inundated with the exact same track over and over again. I really like ambient music, right? That way you don't have to listen to my horrible voice and nothing else. It adds great ambiance to battles. And it's, you know, sort of a nice background, which is what I guess I just said, ambience and background. You guys see how stupid I am. I have no idea why you guys are listening and watching these episodes. How's that for self-ingratiating? That's more like self-hate here. Okay, so I'm going to go down. We're going to sell these prisoners. I've got way too many prisoners just to be running around La La Land. We've got to cash in on them. We'll run to Saneopa. Actually, Diathma's closer. We're making lots of money from our mercenary contract. They've made peace with the sturgeons. Okay, that's not going to affect us. We don't care about the sturgeons. We want these Battanian lords ransomed. Sanelp is actually right here. We'll just run to this. We're not going to be taking quests like that, right? The deliver the shit where they make you run around like a bitch. We're not going to be taking quests like that very often anymore, right? Our time is worth more. Time is money. And we're going to ransom all these prisoners here and continue back to the war, right? We're going to continue to pound on Battania, pound on Valandia here, and make some money. I think the Northern Empire is still at war with Valandia. Now, when I get to the vassal stage, I will be storing this food. I've got massive amounts of food at this stage. We're selling our excess loot. I won't subject you to this over and over again, but occasionally you're just going to see me do this process. I click items by the amount of numbers that we have, right? So like if we have 26 of these ragged arm things and whatnot, we'll just be dumping this loot in a hurry. And then occasionally I'll be locking off items like these horses, these rouncies that I want us to keep, right? I want these for troop movement, stuff like that, right? So you'll see me doing this house cleaning, so to speak, every once in a while. We're going to make giant piles of money by selling all this loot. In fact, it's going to tell me that the place doesn't even have enough money for all this, so we could actually buy a few things here and just like try to break even. But you could see how massively profitable this is going to be. That's too expensive. I'd like to buy that armor, but that's way too expensive. Just pick up a small thing or two. But you could see how enormously profitable this is going to be for us to be a mercenary. Unlike real life, like in a year, Wazu's going to be able to retire, right? He was making 1 dinar a week at the Sandy Crotch, picking up endless fucking mugs. Now Wazu is making tens of thousands of dinars every other battle, right? We collect all the loot. We get all these prisoners. We get the mercenary contract, right? There's literally money pouring in different ways, which of course is also my plan in retirement, right? I plan on having a hobby job or two. At 60 something, I'll get a social security check. They made peace with the Aserai. That's very confusing to me. Why would the battanians be at war with the Aserai? Artificial imbecility. You know, every time I see something like that, I'm reminded how stupid the AI is. I mean, there's a whole kingdom in between the Aserai and the battanians. And never mind. All right, so we'll sell a little bit more loot here, and this becomes a theme at this stage of the game. You literally have to run around from town to town selling all your shit because I have so much loot that it's going to start weighing us down, right? You could picture like these mercenaries, and they're dragging just cartloads full of fucking bent fucking, you know, swords and simple javelins and shit through the woods, and these guys are like, any takers for you know, some fine highborn leather boots, and just raking in the gold, right? These guys, we now have 3 wagons just full of gold as we just collect money for retirement here. Okay, so no arena here. I probably got a little break. In fact, we got another one of these annoying auto saves. I'm going to mention this part here. This campaign, I hope, is really unique. And one of the ways, and I've mentioned it before, that it's going to be really unique is that Wazu, we're going to be role-playing a bit. Wazu was broke. He was poor. He's now running into more money than he's ever seen before. Oh, you just fucked up. Oh, you done fucked up now. I feel like quoting, I can't remember who it was, Dave Chappelle or... Yeah, you cornered yourself, you dipshit. Come with us, you caravan dipshit. Give us all your goods. No, we want your lives and your goods. That's an acceptable amount of casualties, I guess. But back to the point here. I'm just going to be doing some of these basic things. Hopefully you guys don't need me to explain each time we're taking this prisoner, we're doing this upgrade. In this campaign, Wazu is going to get very rich. He's going to get married, and he's going to start having kids. What we're going to effectively roleplay is that once he hits age 43, 44, Epicrocia is taken. Once he hits, 4 years or so in this campaign and he's rich, we are going to say Wazu gets indolent, lazy. We are going to say Wazu gets complacent. He's got his wife, he's got some kids, presumably he's got several mistresses, a harem, right? Because we're role-playing here. He's probably got a harem of 50 beautiful women. And Wazu is going to get fat. Well, he's already fat. There's Corain. I know you guys want to see me take down Corain, right? Corain is like a hero, or however you pronounce her name. We're gonna hunt her down She's a good-looking battanian young gal that everybody seems to have a crush on, especially on Reddit. They have like almost a maniacal obsession with this gal, this pixelated gal. Although I guess I can't talk since I'm dreaming about Arwa here. Arwa is a Aserai noble lady that I'm hoping to marry Wazu off to. She's big, which is important, right? We don't need to have a fatality on the honeymoon night. There's little tiny gals that are trying to get Wazu to marry. Well, Wazu is 7 foot tall. We'll say he's 7'1", 370 pounds. He does not need to be married to a little tiny 100-pound woman. So we're going to say Wazu gets married, has kids for the storyline here, and then he gets lazy, right? This is actually a very common thing with humankind, especially people who inherit money. A lot of times, or lottery winners and shit like that. It turns into a disaster. I think I can run this guy down. He might make it to the city. So Wazu's going to retire, and what we're going to do is I'm going to install a few mods. I will explain it in great detail when I do it. Of course, this guy's ditching me in the forest. I look like such a bitch sometimes. It's hilarious. Hey, Corain, come get some. Yeah, you shouldn't be coming this way. We'll have a little illicit liaison here with this Battanian princess, 3.2. We're going to catch her. We might catch both of these armies. Oh, shit. Lucan and that huge force just got captured. I mean, that was a huge force, and the Battanians just crushed them. So, no mercy on the Battanians here, right? Obviously, the Battanians have a strong army, a strong kingdom, because we just lost an army. What did Lucan have? 1,500. We should be able to catch these two here, but let me finish the point. So I'm going to purposely fast forward ahead 15 years or so, right? So Wazu will be an old man. He might even die. I'm hoping he doesn't die while I'm doing this because I'm not going to film it, right? You don't want to watch 15 years of the game passing by. And the reason I'm doing that is threefold. I want the kingdoms that we're facing to be mature, right? I want basically our enemies to have high-level lords and their sons to come of age and weightlift and kill some people and get stronger. The second thing that's going to happen is based on that idea. One of the mods we're going to load is a Strengthen AI mod, and we're going to systematically edit all the enemy lords, none of our own lords, just the enemy lords, to make them powerhouses, right? We're going to give them daily EXP. You can do that with this mod, and over the course of 15 years, most or all of the enemy lords are going to be incredibly powerful. I'm talking level 30, level 35, maybe even level 40. Some of them, of course, are going to die off, right? It's just natural. When the campaign comes back, Regea might be dead. Ira, or whoever her name is, might be running the Southern Empire. And I will probably have a little 10-minute episode at the beginning of an episode when we come back, so to speak, basically updating you like a news reporter on what happened in the last 15 years, right? We'll look at the campaign map. I will talk about what things have changed. A little village battle here against Corain and folks. I'm not, again, going to explain this too much. You guys get the precept at this stage of our early game strategy. We're ranged heavy, and we're going to take advantage of it. A lot of guys run cavalry early on in a campaign. I think archers are far superior. Of course, you need to have tactics to be able to use them right, but we certainly have that in spades. And use these little hedgerows and whatnot to protect ourselves. So back to that last point, I'll wrap it up. We're going to stall 15 years. We're going to make the enemies much, much tougher. They're both going to be more mature because their cities are going to mature and they're going to have lots of gold, and their lords are going to have hugely upgraded skills. Their lords are going to have children that are upgraded and powerful, etc., 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 right? We're going to be effectively advancing the game artificially to a late stage, or I guess what most people can almost consider an end game stage. 20 years into a campaign, and it's going to happen to you guys in the blink of an eye, right? One episode, actually there'll be no episodes. It'll be, the year, whatever it is, 1085, one moment, and then a second later it'll be, get off your horse, you bitch, and it'll be 1086 or 1080 or 1099, right? Like the next year. It might even be the year 1100 I restart. What that's going to do, of course, also is Wazu's children will be 16, 17, 18, and they will be starting to come of age. And then, of course, you could sort of see my eventual plan. This character, Wazu, is merely the table setter for this campaign. His son or daughter, hopefully a son, is going to be the main hero of the actual campaign. And what I mean by that is this campaign is going to have two major phases. This first phase here, this is like the foreplay, and then the secondary campaign is what I hope is going to be an epically difficult campaign with highly augmented enemy lords and armies. And we have a fledgling Aserai force, right? With a modicum of gold, I'm going to basically have Wazu sit in the city for 15 years with a decent army. And what I'm going to do with that is allow those guys to effectively use all his gold, sort of simulating that Wazu just spent all his money on hookers, the harem, alcohol, coffee, whatever else, hashish, whatever other fucking debaucheries that they did in the medieval era. So that when his son and daughter come to age, they inherit a small vassalage and a very sort of weak amount of money, and sort of have to carve and forge their own way, right? They're not going to be completely bereft. Obviously, we're going to have nice equipment and money. These bitches just get knocked off their horse and scorched. We're getting levels, fucking killing these nobles. Okay, here they come. We're going to do a little bit of kiting here. I'll probably be a little bit sloppy when I'm doing this because I'm trying to explain what we're going to do with the campaign. I really hope I don't have people that want to hear me narrate every single troop movement and every single battle. In fact, I presume a lot of people would just assume I skipped this part. But I wanted to finish this point. The whole idea here, though, fellas, you guys can sort of grasp at this stage exactly what's going on. We're developing an artificial scenario here in which the enemy we're facing is huge. Some of the kingdoms will be consolidated. There might even be some kingdoms that are eliminated during this stalling process. What is this? I got archers. I thought I told these guys to follow me. Getting a little sloppy here while I'm trying to narrate and explain this. But I'm hoping that this campaign is unlike anything you've seen before. We're going to have incredibly powerful opponents. We're going to have very similar kind of to my deathmatch campaign, just not suicidally difficult, right? We are going to probably stay neutral, so to speak, with the Aserai, even if that means paying them. But anybody else who declares war on us, we're going to fight, right? We're going to basically say we're fighting anybody who's not Aserai, right? This guy's son or daughter is going to have a strong sense of nationalism and patriotism to the south, and we're going to fight it out. Of course, we'll be our own kingdom eventually, and we'll see how it goes. The effect for you guys, for you watching this, is I think it's going to be awesome. There's going to be huge battles. There's going to be dramatic fucking sieges. There's going to be twists and turns. We're going to turn the Death for All mod on so that nobles die in battle, and you get... the main character might even die, right? It'd be a little bit like Game of Thrones, where you just never know how long a character's going to live, and there's all kinds of drama, and this guy getting chopped down. We may do some executions. It's going to be a violent, wicked campaign, and what I'm hoping is that this is unlike any campaign you've seen before, therefore it's interesting, right? Of course, my job as the content creator is to produce something you guys want to watch, and I think exactly this kind of a campaign will be interesting. Advanced tactics using the Aserai, fighting the rest of the map in a very advanced state. In a not just advanced state, but an artificially advanced state. All right, not too many casualties there. We probably suffered 15 or 20 with a little bit of sloppiness. But another battanian force here, actually 2 of them, swept aside. 9 deaths. That's okay. It's not great. Of course, I was sloppy there. But another couple battanian forces here just butchered. Come with us. Skill levels are going up like crazy. At this stage, you can see I can chew gum and talk at the same time, although it was sloppy. You know, Caravan, she's a hero to a lot of you guys. We're going to do the right thing here, right? It's never a bad thing to make young, attractive women like you with favors, right? So we will let her go. We will show some magnanimity, or however you pronounce that word. We're going to be magnanimous. We're going to be generous. We're going to be... What's another good word? Compassionate here. Compassionate with an angle, right? We're hoping it's compassion with benefits. Get some more loot here. We're just absolutely stacked with loot. I got so much loot, it's starting to encumber us. Decided to make peace with the Northern Empire. It's almost like our gesture there of letting Caravan go. The Battanians are like, all right, we don't want war with you. It's actually bad for me. When you're a mercenary, you want war with everybody. You want just targets everywhere. Of course, it can be dangerous, but Wazu doesn't care. He wants money. I need to sell some more loot here, so we're going to Of course, you can't get a castle, I think, as a mercenary, so we're not going to get any castles early on. This gal, she looks beautiful. Yeah, we'll take you. We'll take some more beautiful ladies into our army. I'm out of. Let's see what she. Oh, okay, she looks better with a hat on. She looks a little bit like a rat without her hat. So we'll move on here. If you can't tell, I'm going to definitely be recruiting some female companions that look nice. We will be making clans, right? Once we establish a kingdom, we will be turning some of our companions into clan leaders, right? I think that's a really cool process. A banner lord, they become these independent little fiefdoms within your kingdom. They recruit troops, they marry, they have kids and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm hoping to do a few of those before... well, actually, I won't be able to. I was just thinking, we'll still be a vassal. I'm not going to declare a kingdom before the time fast forward. So unfortunately, a lot of our companions that we have right now are going to be old by the time sort of the real heavy-duty campaign begins. So what do we have here? I guess there's peace down here. It's just Valandia. It's kind of disappointing, right? In this case, just like when the Aserai and the Southern Empire stopped fighting, we're sort of bereft of targets. I want to go back down to the Aserai eventually, so we might make our way around there. Of course, I've got to repudiate this mercenary contract because I think it's time to visit homeland, right? Wazu's getting a little homesick. He misses some of that fresh Arabian coffee, right? What's that spice, man? It's a great spice if you guys have never had it before. Cardamom. Some cardamom coffee, right? We're going to do that shit. I made my wife cardamom coffee from scratch one day. That'll get you laid. And get some relationship advice for you fellas as well. We'll do some financial advice as well. I'm an unqualified, uncertified financial advisor. And what I mean by that is, I'm not going to be a fiduciary for you fellas, but I can... I think point you guys in the right direction of getting your finances stretched out in life. Start having your money work for you. Talk about finances. Talk about stocks, bonds. Talk about those kind of things. I understand everybody's situation is different. And if you're working for minimum wage somewhere and can barely afford a computer to watch this, my advice for you is somehow, some way, right? Try to find a way to make money in this world. Because if you don't have money in this world, man, it's just an absolute meat grinder of morale crushing. Speaking of crushing, we're going to crush these insolent Valandians here. I'm actually going to raid this village here. We're looking for a fight. This is a little bit too fast. So we're gonna butcher some Valandian villagers here, take all their stuff, raid their village, and hopefully we can get a few Valandian fights for this episode, right? We're down to picking on Valandia in this episode. Or as this mercenary force. We're getting paid so much money by the Northern Empire here that I'm highly compelled to continue to stay active service for them. But we're also going to move on, right? Wazu's getting a little homesick, like I said, and we're going to head south here soon. But not before we kill some villagers and take their stuff. Do a little bait here with our cavalry. We will pull these guys out right into the teeth of our archers. I've got the 6th Infantry Division just waiting to ambush these guys on the right flank. The 1st Division, we can pull it to the left and encircle and annihilate these guys. Now, of course, you don't have to do this when you're fighting militia at a town, right? These guys are literally throwing rocks at us. And they're getting butchered. And very quickly, this battle is going to be over. The only reason I'm fighting this is sometimes you will auto-resolve this and lose like 6 fucking battanian fiends and whatnot. You just have these horrific results. So it's going to take 60 seconds here, and we carve through these guys. They're already starting to rout. I just took a nasty shot, but that's okay. Right, these guys are defeated, and hopefully we can get some good battles here against Battania. So I know one of the hardest decisions people struggle with in a campaign is when do I become a kingdom, right? Being a vassal and mercenary, these things are pretty self-explanatory. I would say stay a mercenary till you have 500,000 gold at least. 1 million would be preferable. And then as a vassal, of course, you can start forming your own armies and really racking up the gold and loot and whatnot. But I would say do not make a kingdom if you're a newer player until you have at least 2 million gold, something like that, right? Maybe that's not the hardest number. Maybe there's not a hard number here. Come on, fight. Here we go. We got some Valandians. We better stop raiding here because now we're encumbered. We get run down and killed here while I talk about fiscal fiscal competency. Oh shit. In fact, we're running for our lives now. 1, 2, 3 armies. 420, 540, or 440. We might be able to take on all 3, but there's no reason to do that, right? We're escaping now. We're going to try to take these guys piecemeal. But to finish that point, if you're an experienced player, of course, you don't need my help. But if you're a newer player, I would say 2 million dinars is a good goal to become your own kingdom. More is better, right? Because then, of course, you can obviously just pay people for peace. The diplomacy process in Bannerlord is pretty. Look, we got like chaos here. There's all kinds of caravans being chased. These guys are half chasing me and half running. I think if it's one army, they'll probably run from us. But I'm going to finish that point, right? You want to have the gold so that you can get peace. And obviously you need that money to be able to field large armies, give money to companions and stuff like that. So just like real life, right? I have a pension. I'm very lucky. In the United States, something like 6% of professions actually have a pension anymore. It used to be very common through the result of union busting. And I won't say which party, but one of the political parties in the United States of America hates fucking unions and the profits that they pull from their corrupt fucking ultra-capitalistic system. It's very unfortunate because the United States, like a lot of countries, the middle class is shrinking, right? We've got a lot of people who don't make a lot of money. I don't want to fight them all at the same time. I think this is just 2. Okay, this is perfect. You know, we've got a lot of people that are sort of sinking into paupery, right? They're sinking into poverty because we mistreat our low-level kids. Of course, you want that perk for children. I'm trying to just click through this, and if I remember a point that's important, I'll try to interrupt myself and mention it. But without unions, of course, employers tend to just bully the employees. Okay, we're going to use this. I don't need to probably, but I'm going to use this because we may have 2 fights back to back here. So we're gonna hide out down here on the beach. Most of you guys are familiar with this beach process. If not, you shall see shortly. Right? We're basically going to funnel the enemy down to our beach where we slaughter them en masse. And I will explain a little bit more once we get there. I'm going to look for the right beach spot here, and then we're going to position our troops. But just to finish this rant, unfortunately, and this is a thing kind of happening throughout the world, partly because most governments in Western civilizations are now being run by the corporations. That happened because of this Supreme Court Act, Citizens versus United. If you're not familiar with it, it basically allowed corporations to give unlimited funds to politicians, which obviously is going to lead to corruption. And unfortunately, that is the case in the United States of America, and I suspect similar issues are occurring in other Western civilizations. The net effect of that is that corporations are getting stronger, so naturally they're busting up unions, which means less middle class, which means less people making a good wage, etc., etc., etc. It means basically we're all on the Titanic of a financial system, and only a small percentage of people actually are lucky enough like me to get a lifeboat. My wife and I will be able to retire with a modicum of financial security, and a lot of that is just by being responsible with our money, but a big part of it is a pension, right? I get a monthly pension, which is basically a payment, as compensation of giving 32 years to the fire service and the military. I will get a small amount of money. I don't need to tell you guys how much. It's less than I'm making right now, but between that and the money I saved beforehand, my wife and I will be able to continue life and stop working, right? This is a wonderful luxury. I realize how lucky we are, but it's unfortunate it's now considered a rarity, right? This used to be fairly common. What I mean by used to be, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, this was a lot more common, right? Until they started really breaking up the unions. A lot more people were able to comfortably retire and live at least some of their years without being fucking terrified of being broke. All right, enough of that rant, though. The point, though, the way you tie it in here, and of course I just have a cav division here with infantry blocking the entrance. This is like a reverse fire escape where they're all trying to get in and they're getting hit by fucking flaming arrows, and they're coming in slowly. So it's almost like we're bouncers at a bar where people are trying to get in without paying the cover fee, and in this case the cover fee is death, right? Come on in, but you got to die to do it, right? We're gonna hold this little line here, and absolutely exterminate these battanians. They've got lots and lots of cavalry. In fact, I think the cavalry are actually impeding their process. Look at all these horses. They can't even get in because all the dead guys, their horses are now in the way of the rest of their troops, and they're just getting lit on fire. They have I'm a full-time firefighter. They definitely have a little incipient fire growing here on the shields and carcasses of all these Valandians. So there's no pension in Bannerlord, so you want to make sure you have a nice nest egg, right? You cannot begin a kingdom, I think. I don't know, maybe you can. You can't really consistently begin a kingdom with like 100,000 dinars, right? You need a bunch of money. You're going to have to pay for peace. You're going to have to buy a wife, right? It's mail order brides. You're going to have to buy equipment, and etc. It's expensive. I think I've beaten that point to death here. And again, some of the narration is I'm just trying to keep things lively for you guys, right? We're going to throw fucking javelins at the feet of these guys blocking, and we're going to just hold the line here, right? I've got infantry ready to charge anytime I want. I can also stick that first corps up there in a square while the 6th Corps butchers anybody that gets through. This is another savage process. You allow 8 or 10, 15 guys to get down here into the beach. Then you close the door of the square and then attack them with your other division, right? It's total divide and conquer. And in this case, we're really badly manipulating the enemy, right? They're being scorched. Every guy is lit on fire before they even get to the beach. This is the worst beach party they've ever been to, right? Every guy gets 3rd-degree burns. Then they get cut apart by fucking rusty weapons that haven't been washed in fucking 3 weeks. They're all getting fucking bloodborne pathogens, but that doesn't matter since they're dying minutes later. So we charged there just to close it up, but again, the enemy attacked us, so we can literally just sit back here. And I know this isn't maybe the most thrilling battle for you fellas. We probably could have fought all 3 Battanian forces here. You can see they have virtually no way of making a concerted, real attack on us here. In fact, this battle's already over. Oh, good block, dude. These guys have no chance. So what I think we can do here, I think probably they have a lot of archers at this stage, 53 archers. Let's backdoor them with cavalry just to be a little bit more savage, a little bit more diabolical in this episode. And we will finish this episode off, or at least finish this battle off. I am aiming for these episodes to be roughly an hour. Part of that is I don't have the endurance to just sit here. In fact, I got to pee right now. I don't have the endurance to do like 7-hour episodes. I don't want to do 7-hour episodes. I'm sure you guys are fine with half-hour to hour-long episodes, but that, like so many of the other factors in this campaign, God damn it, when I run things on fast mode, I'm really vulnerable to, I want to say mistakes, but it's not really my fault, right? My guy's running 150 miles an hour. It's very hard to have the reflexes then to block, a horse coming in by the AI. But this is your opportunity, right? These early campaign episodes are your opportunity to leave feedback. If you'd like me to talk less, talk more, talk about something in specific, you guys want more history. I haven't done a huge amount of history. I've been kind of ranting about politics and geopolitics and shit like that. If you guys want anything more, less, can't see, can't hear, you want me to swear less, go to another channel. But if you guys want to leave feedback, of course, I'm pretty receptive. I'd like some sharpshooters here. We're just picking up a smattering of enemy forces here. Our main force is going to be 80% Aserai most of this campaign. Now, once we start expanding, as I hope to do, we will obviously be incorporating more and more enemy troops or foreign troops into our army. That's just the nature of it, right? When you're invading and you have an army rolling through the Imperials, it's just way too much legwork to run back and forth and try to make sure you have all Aserai. I know some people play campaigns like that. Let's see if this guy wants some. You want to fight? It looks like he's changed his mind. He's got a massive amount of archers, 168 range units. You know what's happening here? I think he wants us to attack him because in a ranged battle, the defender has a huge advantage. We're going to be able to catch him. It's like he's baiting us. If this was a human opponent, I would be sure this was a trap, right? There's like guys waiting to pounce on me and circle me. But the AI here, I think, is just being They're being hesitant. They're like that sophomore trying to ask that junior out to the prom. They're nervous. We can upgrade a few perks here, and I think maybe this will probably be the last battle for this episode. Again, I'm trying to aim by about an hour per episode. If that's too long, that was the whole point of that rant there. If you want these episodes to be a little shorter, now's your chance, right? Obviously, I'm filming these episodes 3 a week, and I will very slightly alter my behavior based on what you guys want to see. If you guys want to see less of these smaller battles, right, this is your opportunity again to pipe up in those comments down there. Don't be shy, fellas, and say, hey, maybe you could make the episodes a half hour instead of an hour. I would appreciate that. You can say, turn the music down. I'm famous for having the music too loud. What we got going on here? So immediately, of course, we're trying to take the high ground here. Anytime it's archer versus archer, it's like the high ground is everything. And of course, you want high ground in this situation. Very simply, right? Like, we are going to rain down projectiles on them, and elevation is key to that. Now, obviously, reverse slope would be a reverse slope defense. Some of you fellas know, of course, I talk about this a lot. That would be preferable here, but we're the attacker. So this foe is very unlikely to commit to an offensive maneuver that would allow us to enact a reverse slope defense, a peekaboo ridge defense. We're not going to be able to do that. Maybe. It's hard to know what the AI does, but more than likely they're going to take a defensive position on that ridge over there. Fucking assholes. And that does appear to be what they're doing. Which is actually good. This is going to be interesting to a lot of folks here to see how an experienced Bannerlord player combats this. The truth is it's difficult, right? The first thing we're going to try to do is manipulate to an angle where we can get a better line of sight on the enemy. But obviously, there's no trees here. There's very shallow ridges on their flanks, their left and right. So it's not going to be easy to get the jump on this opponent, right? There's this little ridge ahead of us here, but they're too far away. If I send our troops over the edge of that, of course, they'll be within 100 range, and then the enemy will open fire and just devastate our archers. We are outnumbered. You can see the power bar slightly favors them, but I think if I hit F1, F3 here, I still think we would win a lot of these battles. So this is one of those situations where Napoleon, like at the Battle of Borodino, he just told his marshals, look, on this battlefield, the enemy has too many defensive situations. In Borodino, he had a series of different redoubts and defensive fortifications already built up waiting for the French. And Napoleon said, look, if we try to get too fancy here, it'll work in the enemy's favor, right? If we try something really like a wide, huge flanking maneuver, it won't work. Now, I might be able to get some decent line of sight over here. It depends on how far the map goes over here. I'm gonna examine this, because of course, if we can get to the other side of that ridge, then we can do some dynamic stuff. So you see me systematically moving my archers in here. And this is really for two reasons. Partly for demonstration, but also partly at this point of the campaign, I don't want to suffer 40 or 50 losses in this battle, right? We might even lose their archers unloading on us, and look how many it is, right? It's like 150 archers in a big glob there, and they are... they're maneuvering... Oh shit, there's the edge of the map. I gotta get back in now. They're maneuvering actually quite well. They're basically holding to that position and keeping a strong angle, with all of their units gonna have line of sight on us. So, I think this is just like the Battle of Borodino. We're gonna have to commit to a frontal assault. Now, before you think that we're... I'm gonna kill this bitch here. This fucking bitch is irritating me. Now, before you think we're just gonna commit suicide and roar over this ridge at the enemy, we're not gonna do it without support. So what do we have for that, right? I've got about 20 cavalry, right? And we're going to basically blitz the enemy and try and occupy them while our infantry and archers do work, right? Our archers, of course, will be shooting at range. We will charge with the infantry and archers as they move up, and then we will hammer the enemy from the side with cavalry. So these movements need to be coordinated and timed pretty well, right? You can't just do this slowly, because the enemy will simply shoot and kill your cavalry to death before they can close. So we will be bringing archers and infantry over at the same time. The cavalry is now sweeping around to the enemy's left. I'm going to position them down in this valley here. Somewhere down here. See, the edge of the map there is really in the enemy's favor. We're basically forced to approach them no matter what, downhill in a ridge. It's conceivable we could go way around to the enemy's right and gain an edge on them, but I've already jockeyed here for like 5 minutes with this enemy, and there is a little balance here between boring you guys to death and executing tactics, right? Sometimes I am just going to blunt it out like Napoleon at Borodino, or like the Confederates did for American fans of the Civil War, like they did at Cemetery Ridge and the main battle of Gettysburg, right? They just tried, the Confederates just tried to blast them, and it didn't work particularly well, right? Pickett's charge and all that shit. So here's what we wanted to do, right? We wanted to get our cav in here on the enemy. Our cav is now in the face of all of these crossbow as our units come over that ridge. The archers are now are set up and shooting. I can see arrows landing over here, and it's our job, this cavalry's job and mine, even at the cost of these units, you can see we're getting killed, to run through here and attack these crossbow. If we can keep these guys on the move, if we can keep a big smelly horse ass in their face, that's less guys that are shooting our guys, and we're going to start to gain the advantage here. The death spam is very green. Now I'm paying the price too. I'm almost dead. We're bringing our infantry up now. The units 6th and 1st are both charging hard. I'm trying to get some kills here, and again continuing to drag our cavalry right through here. So Zuvan, I said Zuvan, I knew I was going to do that. Wazu eats shit, and the rest of our units charge. You know, it's actually better to have the archers on the ridge here because they can't actually see down here in the valley. So if you charge, then unfortunately they will actually lose line of sight. This guy feels like he needs to go to the gym. I am moving incredibly slow. Of course, this is one of my low-level companions. He has no shield either, so we're charging archers uphill with no shield. This is not recommended activity. Look how slow he moves. This guy with the spears poking me. He gets owned like a bitch. But I just looked up at the power bar, and we now have a serious edge. Our infantry is annihilated, most of them. There's a handful of guys in there fighting, but we now have way more archers than them, and we should be able to gun down the rest of these crossbows. Speaking of crossbow, this guy's got a crossbow. I almost never use a crossbow character, so predictably every shot is going right into the dirt. But victory is ultimately achieved here. It was messy. I knew that was a potential case. I warned you that this might be potentially messy. The bottom line is that was a good defensive position by the enemy, and the AI actually played well there. 20 deaths, which is a lot, and 35 injuries. Those are pretty significant losses, but at this stage of the campaign, ultimately, any win is still a win, right? We will take wins, and the deaths were sort of spread out over all our troops here, right? So more Valandian prisoners come with us. It's my favorite tagline. Come with us, you dipshit. We're going to lose some of these prisoners because we suffered so many injured there. And that's unfortunate because I've got some nice prisoners that are maturing. We get some more really nice equipment here. Of course, oftentimes you get really nice lances from Valandians. We can give Wahan the Golden this badass spear. We can give him... he already has a good shield. Anyways, we get a bunch of good loot here. And I think it's about time to wrap this episode up. I am homesick. Wazu is missing some home cooking here, right? He actually is starting to miss his landlord and his stew and his bread, right? So we're going to go back there. We're going to pay those ruffians in Ayakis to beat the shit out of the landlord, and then we'll come in and act like we knew nothing about. Jeez, man, what happened? You got your ass kicked? Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, boss. I no longer work for you. I'm rich, by the way. And incidentally, I'm just doing these quests. I will assign some companions. I should talk about this for 30 seconds here. I'm making fun of the innkeeper, a little role-playing. These quests here, you automatically want to take up when combat is not likely. And what I mean by that is we're going home. I'm going to have to run north and get out of our mercenary contract. But we're going to dump all these troops onto this companion. He will do this quest. 83% of the time he's going to be successful. Shit. That's right, the injured guys don't count. Anyways, we're going to do this quest. This guy should be successful. He'll get like some charm and some other EXP, right? They get little benefits from doing these quests. Of course, you get money. And this is a nice way to sort of passively, through non-warfare. Here, we'll use these. I can't believe we already have 10 Battanian Fiend Champs. Don't worry, I'm not going to recruit 80 Fiend Champs. I've said that before. We might keep 10, though. We'll see. We're going to send some guys on a quest, though. We're going to start heading back to our homeland, and our goal is, frankly, to get married, right? I'm going to look for a nice, fertile, attractive wife. We will try to get married here, collect some more money, and maybe we'll rejoin the Aserai as a mercenary, right? We will head south, though. We're missing the 110-degree days and sand blowing up our ass. So I'm going to wrap this episode up. Of course, you want to subscribe. Do you want to see more from our channel, either tactically related or more episodes from this Aserai campaign? Please hit that like button. I appreciate you fellas. And I will see you guys next time.